Hey people, what's going on? Broken Buppet, welcome back to my channel. Got a really fun one today. It's going to be like a really classic old school sort of skull dagger, Death Before Dishonour sort of tattoo, so it's a really cool one. If it's your first time to my channel, make sure you click subscribe. I've got hundreds of tutorials on there to help you guys out, but for now people, here we go. Death Before Dishonour, really cool skull one. So I'm going to start off with, mark the centre point out so I know I'm good. Just there. So I'm going to start off with a circle, like this. Maybe sit down so slightly so I get it where I want it. So yeah, going to start off with a circle. Come to the circle, going to bring a line, coming down. Line coming back like this, and this line's going to curve up into that circle. So you've got this kind of sort of box sort of shape just here. Now basically going to be the jaw, inside of the circle. And from here, I'm going to have a dagger, and this dagger's going to come through him, I think. So I'm going to start off coming down this kind of angle. So I'm going to get a semicircle. Well, sorry, semicircle, oval shape rather, not a semicircle. Little circle on the top of that. I'm going to have little V shapes come off the bottom of that. Bring this line coming through down here, and this can kind of flick off the edge down here. So around this, I'm going to have a banner. So banner coming here. Banner coming here, I've just top by the sort of by just head, and then the second bit just here. Like so. So it's going to be Death Before Dishonour. I hope my spelling's going to be right. I'm not going to mess this up. So we've got the overall sort of shape of the skull in here. You know where the banner's going to go. We know where the dagger's going to go. So now we've got that, I want to start detailing it. So we want to know where the eye is going to go and where the mouth's going to go. So I'm going to bring this line just down here. So more close to this edge than there's this edge. So we kind of got this line coming up here, about here. Bring curved lines come through the centre bit like this. And we're going to have one eye in this area just here, one eye, and the little sort of semicircle shape connected to the outside edge is going to go here. The nose, we're going to have this sort of triangle shape coming a little bit past that centre bit just here. That's where the nose is going to go. And the mouth, I'm going to get this line coming through the centre bit here. It's going to divide us up, and some little sort of circle shapes coming across. That's where the teeth are going to go just here. So slowly kind of building it up. Coming up from this sort of teeth section, I'm going to bring another one just here, just there. So I'm going to curve this up, and this is going to curve off like so. When it gets to here, I'm going to curve this around. This line is going to kind of curve up, come around this eye a bit. It's going to create this kind of shape around this eye. And where this jaw comes through, I'm going to create this little kind of bump just here, sort of show where this bottom part of the jaw is coming through. Where these teeth are, I'm going to create this little semicircle shape just here. Just create this little kind of gap inside the tooth bits. Around like so. I'm going to come in with Sharpie at this stage so you can see everything nice and clearly how I do it. So I'm going to start off with a Sharpie. So where we've got this eye, now I've got it sketched out as circular, but I don't want it to be circle. It's old school, I don't want it to be circle. It's got to be kind of odd sort of shape, it's a bit kind of curvy. So we're going to create a sort of curve shape, come around it. Getting a bit kind of wonky, like so. So we create this cool kind of sort of shape around it. The nose, a bit similar, I'm going to curve up, and when we get to the bottom, I'm going to make it a bit wavy. I've done it perfect circular. You know, perfect circle ones just look a little bit weird and old school, it doesn't quite work. Little line, just bring that a bit up. And then this eye again, so it's going to curve outwards. It's going to curve there, and then when it hits the shape, I'm going to curve this line inwards like so. Now it's just got a little dip on the inside. This cheek bit's going to bump out from this, come down to those teeth. And now I've got to this stage, I'm going to be this line, just down the centre part of the teeth, like so. Now what you can do at this stage, you can either just do perfect circles, you can do little sort of triangles, you know, for the tip of the teeth. You know, I'm going to do the circular sort of shape, so it's big kind of ovals. Like this. And it's just going to create top and bottom teeth. It's about there. Don't like to add too many teeth, just to kind of enough so you kind of get a sense of where it kind of curves around us on this sort of side. I'm going to bump this up, create this curve around. And when this line comes back again, I'm going to make this sort of come up, and it's going to bump up and go a bit kind of sort of wonky around here. You know, I don't want it to sort of be a nice perfect sort of shape. You know, I don't know, something about sort of perfectly smooth old school skulls just doesn't quite seem right. So just go around this outside line, create this curve just around here. I'm going to bring a little flick line just down there. Curve this line down, bring this out, and then curve this line around here for the jaw. Now, I like to make sure the jaw's usually got a little point. Yeah, I don't know. I like a very pointy kind of sort of jaw on the tip of my skulls. I think it just looks really cool. So now I've got it done. I'm going to get the banner. So the idea of the banner is you want to create this curve shape like this. Curve around here. And then I'm going to curve around here. And then what you want to do is you want to kind of mimic this shape. So you want to kind of come down here, get it nice, even apart. And loop around. So you want to get like two nice, even sort of shaped lines. They're very, very important. And once I've got that done, I'm going to create this other one around here now. So it's going to loop around here. Go around there, and again I'm going to mimic that sort of shape coming back, keeping it as about the same distance sort of apart as I can. So we've got 1, 2, and then 3, 4. So it's going to curve around again. And that, curve that back, go down into there, and then in the end you can kind of sort of spiral around if you want. You know, I'm just going to have this one kind of sort of wave off, like so. I prefer my banners to kind of end in a V sort of V shape. You know, it's just generally what I like them to go like. You know, there's plenty of ways of doing it, but that's how I like my banners to end. And once we've got that done, we can kind of make a little mark here, because basically this dagger is going to go into the skull. So we want a little cut-off point where the dagger is going to go into it. So I'm going to create this little curved line just here. So we're going to create a classic one coming across like this. So it's kind of wavy line. And I'm going to start from here, and this blade's basically going to go into this section, and it's going to come out the chin. So we've got this V shape. This is going to be the basic sort of handle part. So I'm going to start with this, because this is going to sit in front. So I'm going to create this curve outwards, loop around like so, bring this line back, and then I'm going to mimic this, come around the other side. So we're going to curve out, curve around, bring your line up like that. Going to get this big oval shape on the inside part here. So, little curve around there, curve around the top, and then once we've got that done, underneath this bit just here, I'm going to bring in this line outwards a touch, this line outwards a touch, and start coming down like this. So you see this blade kind of sits in it now. And coming down this line just here, so this line kind of comes through. It's going to come down to about here, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of measure where this other line will come through just here. I'm going to get this bottom edge, this other edge, and then I'm going to basically split this line so it curves like this. So you get this little nice tail finish at the bottom. Now I've got that done, I want to bring back the back of the skull, so I'm going to bring this line coming back. Curve this around, curve that around just there. So you've got this dagger now splitting into here, but obviously this dagger is going into this, so you want to make a few little crack lines. So I'm going to create a little crack just going here. I'm going to have a little crack just coming from the back of the skull just there. And any other little details you want to do, you can sort of put in there, but I think this is a nice sort of set of details. You don't want to go too crazy. I think we've got a nice kind of flow to this. So I'm going to bring this down just here. Curve that back, create a little loop just there, V shape, just to finish off that banner at the end. So now we've got this done, I'm going to come back in, just rub everything out. So I want to get rid of all those pencil work lines. Depending on what sort of paper you're using, what sort of pens you're using, you might want to give it a sec just to dry. You know, Sharpie dries really quick, especially on this paper. This is Bristol board. So yeah, just pay attention to what you're using and kind of like go from there. Just make sure that's all gone. Best you can. So I'm going to bring in another secondary line now. Where I've got this edge, I'm going to bring in sort of draw it in. Keep it about the same distance apart, all around the edge just here. Same across over this top section just here. Bring that across there. Same up here. Same down here. Same. Across here, and just there. So on each side of the banner, you've got these kind of sort of little lines about the same distance apart. So the idea is I'm going to make these letters kind of fit inside these spaces. It's going to give a really nice kind of even set of space. So So you've got to sort of divide it up. So death is a 5-letter word, so basically I sort of divide it into 5 sections. So I know my A, then it's in the middle, so I'll do a little line where I do my A, and then the 2 beside, so 2 there, 2 there. So you've got 5 even little boxes. And inside that, just put your letters in. So I'm going to get my D. Going to get my E. Make sure you give it a little bit of an old school flair, you know, sort of way you do your letter in. So I'm going to get a little curve just on the E. Get the N there. Another little curve on that. A little curve on the T. And then H. I might have like a little kind of V shapes on the inside. So you're going to have that bit. And then before is a 6-letter word. So you're going to basically divide it in 6. So get your midsection of it. So divide it in half. And you know what, 3 letters either side. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And again, just put your letters in there. You know, just try and make sure you stick to it so each letter kind of fits in the right sort of space. So each little section. Death Before. Make sure I'm spelling this right. I never make spelling mistakes, but for some reason I always panic when I'm doing videos. You know, I always kind of get like really bad spelling in videos. Death Before, and Dishonour is Dishonour. Give me 2 seconds. I need to double check, make sure I'm spelling that right. And I'm back. Yep, I did spell it right. So Dishonour, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 4. So divide it in half. 4 either side, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just put it in there again. Now, sometimes it's good to sort of put your letter in beforehand so you kind of get the sizing right. I think I've gotten quite lucky with the sizing on this, to be honest. So I'm going to put these letter resistant here. This. On. Or. Then once you've got it in, just kind of pen it all in. Just double check your spelling, make sure your spelling's all right and stuff beforehand before you do it. And it's always worth taking the extra time just to double check. It's always time to check spelling. Plus there's also time just to make sure your lettering is kind of how you want it to look. We have death. And lettering's not my strong point. I'm not terrible at it, but I'm not the best at it. That's the reason you probably don't see too many lettering tutorials from me. No, usually if I'm sort of doing a tattoo, I spend a lot of time trying to make sure it's right. I'm a bit panicky about my lettering sometimes, to be honest. Death Before. This. Death Before Dishonour. So now I've got it nice and bold. Rub out your pencil work again so that's not in your way. Now you can go smaller, but I like my lettering to really kind of fill up my banners. Just my personal sort of preference for it, really. And now we've got that done. We're going to go to the black and grey shading. So I'm going to use Winsor and brush markers for these. And I'm going to use the cold grey tone, so CG1 to CG4 is the codes for these. So you can see it on the end. Then a bit of sort of focus. CG1 to CG4. So to start with, I'm going to work out if there's any ways I want blacked out. So I know there is a few little areas I think I want blacked out. I want to black in a little section just there. I think that's the only section I want to completely blacken actually. So I'm going to go from there and I'm going to go to the eyes now. So I'm going to get this line coming from the top, just here. So I'm going to black this section just here. And then I'm going to get my grey tones, I'm going to blend down. You can completely blacken your eyes if you want. I quite often sort of blacken them, but for this one I just kind of think I want a bit of colour in there. Just to kind of spice it up. So go side to side with your grey tones until it sort of starts to blend. I'm using my darkest grey there, so that's CG4. I'm going to go down to CG3, CG2, CG1. Now the trick is like a nice kind of side to side motion, just like this. Work through them, and as soon as you start to see it start to blend, just kind of let it do its magic. You know, because it tends to keep sort of like blending a second or two after you finish with markers. So once you sort of see it, just stop and let it do the rest for you. So I've got black in the eye just there. And I'm going to do very similar to the nose now, so I'm going to go black on this nose tip just here. And then blend down from this. So I'm going to go black into my darkest grey. Just go over till it starts to blend. From 4 to 3. From 3 to 2. From 2 to 1. So there we go, so that's it for my bit in the eyes. And then I'm going to pretty much pick up sort of certain little corners and stuff that I want sort of darkened. So this part around the back here, middling that a little bit just there I think. I'm going to have black from this section, black from here. I might have black just coming up behind this bit. Pretty much anywhere it kind of sits underneath, I want a bit of black. So I'm going to go those little sections just first, and then add more afterwards if it needs it. So a bit of black again, just come in with a grey tone just over the top. Now I want it like fairly old school, so I'm going to basically kind of bring my shading out fairly quick with these bits. I don't want to sort of drag it out on a quite quick transition with these. Just like so. Down to my number 2. And then down to my number 1, which you kind of just sort of blend it out. So now I've got those little bits there just done, sort of work out what the other kind of areas I want to do. So I'm looking at it and I sort of feel like I want this bit just here. I'll have a little bit of black just here maybe. A little bit just on this cheek. I'm going to flick a little bit coming down here. A little bit on there, and I might just bring a little bit of black just across that back section just there. So as I just marked out, I'm going to do the same thing again. So just go over the black with the grey tone. Just put down a bit there. Just go over there. You know, I've selected quite a few little sections here. If you don't work very fast for your markers, just maybe do one little section at a time, because they tend to dry fairly quick. So if you're not very quick yet with your markers, just do like maybe 1 or 2 sections first and then go to your next one. You know, just save them sort of drying and that, because if it dries it makes the blending very hard to kind of do. Now we've got a little section there done, let's get my number 1. Just curve that edge out. Blend these out so it kind of blends to nothing. Just like so. So I'm liking that. I think that's got like a nice kind of flow to that bit. So look at, you know, I can put a little bit, maybe just a touch under the on the teeth, just around the top part. Don't always, but I think I'll call that out. I don't add too much sort of shading on there, because too much shading kind of sort of ruins it. You know, it's trying to get to a sweet point and kind of call it quits for the shading. Bring that just a little bit just there. And that's it for that bit. So now we've done that, I'm going to look onto it and I'll go onto the dagger now. So work out what colour was on these little bits. So I'm looking at it and I think I want one little section sort of blacked out. So I'm going to have this bottom here blacked out. Just bring that around just like that, I think. Just raise that curve up. So like a black tip on it. we've got this little inside bit just here. I think I'm going to have a little black square inside it. Now you want to make sure you've got plenty of black in an old school design. You know, black is so important with old school sort of tattoos. You know, if you don't have a lot of black, sometimes it really just doesn't look right. Now I'm going to have black inside this top part of the pommel. Just there. And I'm going to sort of decide what I want in that midsection just here. So I think I'm going to go for a really kind of simple classic. Bring my lines across like this. Come back the other way. Just like this. And this little dart inside each little bit. And I'm just going to put a bit of black on the side. I'm just going to blend into it. Get my across. There's loads of classic old school patterns. You know, it's just like one of like 1,000 really. But I quite like that pattern. Especially when I do the colour. Because when I do the colour, I tend to go on the inside bit and leave a little white edge inside each kind of box usually. And it gives a nice effect. So I've got that there. I'm just going to bring in this little bit of grey just coming down halfway through this mark, kind of handle bit. Just there. And then lastly, just down the blade, bit of black just there, a tiny little bit just down. I'm going to blend out, going sideways. Now you can keep it fairly light, but I tend to make sure one side of the blade is fairly dark compared to the other side. Now it's just one of the ways I like to do my daggers. Just like that, and leave the other side nice and light. So it's getting like a nice kind of structure to it now, so just work out the other little bit. So once I want a little bit of black just in between this banner. So on here, a little bit of black just kind of come on off of this section just here. And then just grey down from that. Side to side until it blends. Onto the next grey. Down to the next grey. And down to your next grey. Might do just a touch bit on that little section just above it as well. So pretty much every time it sort of turns on the first turn, you get a shade. So just kind of brings the same pattern through it. Just a little bit just there. Almost kind of like it's one colour on one side of the banner and a different colour on the other side. And again, just a little bit just here. So I'm going to start off just going from the grey because obviously I've got a lot of black in the skull. So I don't want to kind of like go too much on that. You can do, but you just generally kind of lose your skull behind it, which I don't want to do. So now we've got that done, you know, that's pretty much like black and grey. So once I've got the black and grey done, I'm going to come in with a colour. So I'm going to come with colours that I know I want in this. I know I want my reds. I want reds. I'm going to put inside the nose and the eyes. To start with. And I want very sort of traditional kind of colours with this. So I'm going to go red there, and then so I'm going to go for those under bits. No, I'm not going to go for red for those bits. I'm going to go red here inside this part. I'm also going to go red on this tip. So I've got red in a few different areas now. I always like to make sure the colour comes through in a few different little sections. Now, it hasn't got to be a dramatic amount, but just a few. I might put little red strips on the bottom part of the banner, but I'm going to colour it on first before I decide to do that. I'm going to come in with my yellow. Now I want yellow on this part of the handle just here. And now I want yellow on this bit just here. I'm going to have a couple of teeth in yellow as well, so I might have 1, 2, 3. Any more? Wish I'd do more yellow. No, I think I'll call that on the yellows. Don't go too crazy, you know, it's very easy to overkill a design. So now I've got that done, I'm going to get a couple of tones. I'm going to get some cinnamon, some sandstone, and some blush. I'm going to use these in certain areas to kind of bring out certain tones. I'm also going to use turquoise, I think, and I'm going to go into my mint green as well. Actually, sorry, I'm going to use these first. So I know where I want these. I want this on this under part just here. Just there. Just there, and I'm going to have this inside this dagger as well. So each of these little diamond shapes, I'm just going to colour in a little sort of diamond shape inside of each one of these. Leaving just a tiny little white edge around each bit. I'm being fairly quick, really. I'll be a bit more precise than I am, take your time with it. Well, I'm just drawing for fun, I don't really tend to take my time. I kind of like being able to just kind of play a bit and not have to worry about that. But if I was done as a tattoo designer, I would take my time on it. And then use the mint green just on those little bits just there, so kind of fills it up. And it's a really good colour, so it really contrasts against the reds, you know, which is why I used that. It's now I've done, so I'm going to come down to the other tones. I'm going to get my cinnamon, I'm going to sort of start off on the edges just here, the banner. Just here and here. Now I'm going to flick over the sandstone and go into a bit of the blush over the top. I just want that sort of like kind of sort of parchment-y kind of feel to it. Just give that a quick coating. Quick coating over that. You know, if you're worried about blending your Sharpie and stuff, or sort of mudding your colours, you can always do the colour before you do this sort of stuff. But I tend to work fairly quick, you know, and on this kind of paper, it doesn't really tend to do it for me. But I know from a few people sort of say they kind of sort of does it for them, so if you worry about it, just do your colour before you do your outline. Throw that in there. Throw this in there. Throw this over the top. Just like so. Now I'm going to get my reds, and I think one day I'm just going to put this tiny little red line just coming around this top part. Just one little line across the bottom. Same on here and same on the bottom one. Just a little bit of red just there. Do those lines better now. That wasn't my best lines. I kind of like messed that one up a little bit. Come around there. A bit on this edge just here. Just so it kind of feels like it kind of carries through the whole sort of thing. Before I forget, there's one little bit. It's going to bug me if I make sure if I don't do it. A little bit just in that colour in there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically use the blush tone now. And I'm kind of going to go everything, and I'm going to go around the edge now. And it's basically going to sort of stain it. You know, if you want to leave it like this, you can leave it like this. But I'm going to give this cool effect, which I don't normally do on here, but it's going to give you an option. Because a lot of time on old school kind of paper and old school tattoos, it's kind of sort of stained over the top. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go around the edge like this. So just give this nice kind of even edge just around the outside. Now you can use other colours. I like this. It's just enough where it gives just enough of a bit of stain where it's not too strong, not too little. If you know what I mean. It's just a very nice even amount. I'm just going to go around the whole image like this. Now you can always stain it with stuff. You know, you get like sort of coffee stain and other sort of stuff like that, which is very good effects. I'm just showing you how to quickly sort of deal with marker effects. Now it's a little bit more clean than when you normally get, because when you do sort of do the coffee, you get that little bit of kind of unevenness to the stain, which kind of adds to the charm of it. But I don't have any coffee stain available at the minute, it's not currently at hand. I could go make a coffee, but I'm not really fancying it right now. So you see, I've gone around the edge with that sort of stain effect, and then what I'm going to do is just quickly go over the inside part, just a quick cover over any bit of this white. If you're not using sort of like paper like me and that, if you're a little bit worried about it, you can always leave it so it sort of dries before you do this. And just before I forget, got a little bit of white just in there. So yeah, it just gives like a nice kind of sort of stain effect over the top, which I think looks really cool. And that's how you have it, people. That's how you do a Death Before Dishonour tattoo. I hope you like it. If you do like it, make sure you leave a little like, and it really does help these videos out. I really appreciate it. If it's your first time to my channel, make sure you click subscribe. I've got hundreds of other tutorials on there to help you guys out. But for now, people, I am Deep Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time. Peace.